gentlemen, we're in for an incredible night. Oh, we're taking it up a notch. I can't believe what I'm seeing right now. Wes and Mike TZ coming all strong.
Hello and welcome to the conference call. How you guys doing today?
Good, regular, all the things.
Not regular.
All the things.
Yeah.
3, 2, 1. Hello, guys, and welcome to the conference call. I'm your host, Chris Edwards, and I'm here with my other two co-hosts, TJ and Rex. How you guys doing today?
Regular.
Regular?
I'm good and regular.
Okay. As long as you're regular, you're good. You're good.
That's all that matters.
We've got another great topic for you guys today. And today we're going to be talking about how social media posts and focuses have changed over time. I think this is actually a really relevant topic, and I really want to dig into this one. Let's get started with it. I think that, social media over the last several years has really changed drastically. And I think that the reason for people being on social media has also changed as well. I know for me personally, when I started doing the whole, fashion blog for Constantly Changing for me over on Instagram, it was really about cataloging the different looks that I was having and just having a repository, a place to have those things live, and then also just kind of share them with people. But I've noticed that over the years, it's changed for me personally, but then also it's changed, the platform has changed. What do you guys think about platform maturity and where it's going, and just social media in general, where it's going?
Social media going to hell just like everything else. But more seriously, I don't know. When I think about how things have changed, it seems like everybody on social media is running some sort of business now. Like, it's not like there is a lot of, okay, this is really what I want to share about my life. Everything's very curated. And I know that these social media platforms have made all these efforts to make sure that people are being more authentic and more real, or like the Be Real app that TJ talked about before, or the now moments that they have on TikTok. But it just seems like even within that, everything is just really highly curated. And I can't say that I'm not a part of it, because I do that too with the images that I post, but I have really shifted from posting a lot of images of myself, or because I was doing it for representation purposes. But at this point, I have been trying to incorporate the whole representation idea and the diversity idea into the photography that I've been doing on my page. And so I have been including a range of images. And so that is curated because it's coming from photo shoots, but it's a representation of my actual photography work. And so I guess I'm part of the crowd who is operating a business on Instagram. Maybe I need to create a personal page that is just regular and basic, so people know how basic I am.
But here's the thing. I don't even know if doing that now is even worth doing.
Yeah.
It's changed so much where people used to get on Instagram and share images of themselves, or moments in time when they were doing something that was exciting that they wanted to share, and people will comment and interact with that. Whereas now it's really about, all right, well, I'm trying to sell this, I'm working with this brand. And listen, I have fallen victim to this as well. Over the last 3 years, that's really what I was doing. When I first came on, it wasn't about that. But then, of course, brands reach out to you. You're starting to work with them. They're sending you product. You're doing these photo shoots just to push their narrative. And I've realized that I just kind of want to get away from that. I'm not excited about that. I'm not happy about granted, you get free stuff, or you might get compensated monetarily or in other ways. But even with that, it's well, what are you getting out of it? Is it really pushing? Are you making enough money where you can sustain a full business? And to be honest with you, not a lot of people can.
Instagram ain't paying me hoes nothing.
No. Well, it's not even so much Instagram, but it's the brands that you are partnering with. Right now, if you don't belong to some type of agency that, pushes you out there to work with other brands, a lot of times you don't have the opportunity to work with them. It's not like before in the beginning when it first started, you can reach out to brands and say, I'd love to work with you guys. This is what I charge, or we can do a barter system. It's not like that anymore. You have to be signed up almost like with a modeling agency or a talent agency to be put in front of these people. And if you don't have 50 to 100,000 followers, a lot of them, they don't want to even look at you. And then on top of it, they're using programs now that basically are like credit scores for social media. And if you don't score well, I wouldn't say you don't score well. Depending on how you score on those charts, that determines how much they think that you're worth and how much they will pay you. So say you have like 20,000 followers, you have good interaction and engagement on your page. They're willing to pay you a little something. If you have 50,000, they're willing to pay you more. But then also, sometimes even though you have the numbers, you don't have the engagement because you're not really being active on your page. You probably won't get a good deal.
My question is, how do they even measure that? Because if we're just thinking about Instagram specifically, right? The people on Instagram don't allow you to reach your entire audience. If they did, then they wouldn't be able to charge businesses to reach people the way that they do, right? So it's like, I get it. You have a lot of followers, you have engagement, that kind of thing. But like, how do you even really measure whether or not what you're doing is working? Besides tracking codes or whatever they use to sell shit.
Well, that's the thing. Like, you can't really determine. They have these other outside agencies that or programs that they use. They put your username in, and it just goes and scours the internet for, like, especially if it's like Instagram. We'll just use Instagram as a template, and it looks at all the analytics and pumps out a number saying, this is what your engagement is. These are your numbers. This is who your demographic is. This is who you should be selling to, and then it gives you, all right, well, this is how much they think that you're worth to be paid. That's how they do it. So, yeah. And they give you the score and say, this is what we think that you're worth, whatever, and this is what you can go after, or who you should be going after.
Yeah, the concept of worth that's tied to Instagram and your social media is problematic in and of itself. I'm just like, what the fuck? How you determine what I'm worth based on the way people are interacting with me on social media? If that's the case, I'd be worth like $5.
But it's the same thing. It's just like your credit score. Like, your credit score is not a true representation of who you are as a person.
Well,
Man, TJ, what do you say?
So first of all, I've never heard of these, for lack of a better term, talent agencies that you're talking about. That's news to me. But as you were talking about it, I was thinking about it, and I was like, you know what? That's not a bad idea. As someone who, like, influencer talent agency. So, but that's the program that I'm in school has me thinking, like, what are really good, like, business ideas or whatever. So I'm like, perhaps I could do something like that. Perhaps I could start a talent agency. But I think I think a better conversation would be like more drilled down for us. So how have we changed? How has our focus and what we post, how have those things changed over the years? So
I mean, like, as a result of the changes in social media?
I wouldn't necessarily say as a result. I just think how as we have grown through Instagram, like, let's say, where you started, when you started posting, what were you posting then versus what you're posting now, and how has that changed, and what influenced that change? It may have been, how people operate now, Instagram or social media in general, but like, what is it that you're doing today that's different than what you were doing maybe last year, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, 5 years ago? Because I know for me, it's less. Well, before I jump into that, going back to kind of what y'all were talking about, I do think that there is a certain level of, for lack of a better term, I guess, fakeness, which I guess, social media has always been, to a certain extent, kind of fake. You're only showing the highlights of your life, the great parts of your life. You're not showing the downfalls and the bad times, whatever. But what I see a lot these days, and I'm pretty sure I've talked about this before, what I see a lot these days is people just producing content for the sake of producing content, and people producing content that they're trying to pass off as, oh my God, look at this thing that just happened, or oh my God, I cannot believe this just happened. But you can clearly see that it's been orchestrated because people are terrible actors. Like, and I don't know, maybe it's just me being paranoid, but I can just see some of these videos and see this content. I'm like, that's clearly very fake. And you see the comment section, like, everybody's like, oh my God, I can't believe that's happening. But I'm just like, you don't see these people are acting? Like, you don't see these people, like, So I take a step back, like, so it just so happened that somebody just picked up their camera just to see this weird thing. Like, to me, it's just like, okay, y'all are really just doing this stuff just to go viral or just to get likes or just to get, you know what I mean?
Otherwise, it would mean you're just recording all the time, right?
Correct. Yeah. Exactly. Right. Exactly. And so, yeah, it just, that is the thing that really bothers me about social now that I don't think I really have seen in years past, is that I think it's just so many people just trying to put stuff out there, whether it's real or genuine or who they are or not. But yeah, drilling down into that conversation, I'm really curious to know, like, what has brought y'all to the places that you are now, as opposed to the type of content that you were posting, let's say, a couple of years ago.
Rex, you want to take this first, or you want to go?
Go ahead, Friday.
Okay. I think that's a great question. And to be honest with you, I think I fit within, I fit that really well. So for instance, like I said, when I first started, it was really about, just capturing those moments as far as like looks and stuff like that. And then it turned into, okay, working with these brands. But I've realized I've moved completely to the left. I'm doing something totally different. For me, being on social media is really about having conversations with people, and I think that is part of it is coming out of COVID or going through COVID and just living through that whole experience with the world. It's a shared experience, but just really having more meaningful dialogue with people. I found myself during COVID having conversations with people that I knew or people I had gotten to know, via FaceTime or chats and like Zoom calls, whatever. And I realized that I wanted to do more of that. Part of it was, in addition to that, I wanted to be on camera a little bit more, because I had gotten a comment a couple of years ago saying that people didn't realize, oh, I can talk. It was just pretty pictures and stuff like that. And I'm just like, no, I'm a whole person. I've got a lot to offer. It's not just that. And, I think that's where I've landed now, where since last year, actually, it's a little over a year, where I started doing like interviews and I don't like to say interviews. I really like to say conversations. I've been having conversations with people and just letting everyone else watch. I think it's really important to see everyone else's perspective as far as, where they are in their journeys in life, and then also in this realm of social media, because that's how we've all been able to connect. And then also, I'm really interested in people that have businesses and that use social media to promote and to build their businesses. So, that's how Friday Conversations with Chris Edwards started last October. And, every week I have someone else on that's new. And, I book them, months in advance. And we just kind of sit down and just have a general conversation, like we're going to a coffee shop or a bar, and then just talking, And I think the best way to get to know people and for other people to know you is to have like real life conversations. The people that I have on, I don't give them questions ahead of time. I don't actually even have questions planned out ahead of time. It's really about just having that raw interaction with them and then letting the conversation go where it naturally wants to go. So for me, that's what social media is. I do occasionally will do a few other like this regular like style posts and stuff like that, but that's not really my main focus anymore. It's really about having just genuine conversations with people and interacting and engaging socially on social media.
So was there anything in particular? I mean, I know you said, coming out of COVID, because COVID changed a lot for a lot of people, myself included. Was that the main catalyst of you changing from what you were posting to like what you do now, and like I hate to say aversion, maybe too strong of a word, but like, I guess your change from like what you used to do, your suits, your hats and all of that, to your conversations now, because that is very different. That's very different content. Like I said, years ago, you were doing mostly stills and you would do some reels, but it was all like fashion, style, etc. Now it's more so of a conversation, more so of an interview. So like, was COVID like the main catalyst, or was there something that kind of turned you off from that old way of posting?
Yes. I personally was tired of having to, for lack of a better word, feeling that pressure of always having to produce new content and then trying to do something a little bit different. Because, after a while, like if you keep doing the same thing, it just becomes stale. Finding different locations to shoot at.
The storyline has run stale.
Yeah, I mean,
as Kiki
it gets
Palmer would
tired.
say.
It gets tired after a while, and that's why you see people starting to do like these video reels, these transition reels. But let me tell you something, that's boring now too.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Everything runs its time and its course, and the question is, one, can you change? And then also, it's do you change when the platform changes, or do you change ahead to always stay ahead of it? And for me, it was more about I don't need to keep doing the same thing over and over again. I wanted to do something that was a little bit more meaningful. Having conversations with people was meaningful to me because I'm an extrovert. I love being around people. COVID kept people away. But now here it is. I have this technology that allows me to interact with people that don't live near me. I have conversations with people. Matter of fact, the person I'm going to be speaking with tomorrow, I believe she's in Atlanta. If she's not in Atlanta, she's in California. I interviewed someone a couple weeks ago. He lives in England, and there's a 5-hour time difference. But I was still able to have that connection and that conversation. I don't have to be in my local cafe. Would I love to be? Absolutely. But this is the next best thing. So for me, this just seemed like a more natural thing. This is something that I would do, like if I was living in New York and I meet people, I would say, hey, let's meet up at a coffee shop, let's meet up at a bar, and just have those conversations with people. This is something that I'm naturally, I would say, good at. Like I love interacting with people, I love engaging with people, and love having conversations. So it does seem like it was a natural fit for me. And then, like I said, I'm moving my stuff over to YouTube because that's the platform that really allows me and allows us to do these type of things that we're doing. Instagram's not really made for this. And Instagram is not willing to change to make it work on their platform. So you know what? It's a free platform. They can do whatever they want to do. We can't just sit around and wait for them to change. We have to go and do the things that we need to do that make us happy. Doing this makes me happy. Being on this format and this medium makes me happy. So I'm just going to move my stuff. So yeah, I think it was a combination of things. I just got tired of doing the same old thing over and over again. Will I do it occasionally? Absolutely, because I still enjoy it. I still love the photography, but having conversations with people and letting other people sit in and listen, that's what I like.
Rex, what about you?
When I started on YouTube, not YouTube, sorry. I started on Instagram. I think it was like 2017. And back then, I was so like into just looking at the pretty pictures, and like I thought everything was pretty cool. Like I didn't really know what I was doing. I certainly didn't see it as any way to create revenue or market anything. It was just like fun, oh, this is fun. Oh, let's see what it's doing. And then I started to curate images because I wanted to create like this wall of like beautiful images and stuff. So I was like pulling stuff from other people's pages and just kind of like, it was like a tribute to people who were doing really good images. And then I noticed that in a lot of the things that I was seeing, I didn't really see myself. And I started to shift what I was doing to do things that reflected where I was in my journey as far as like as a person and like what I was interested in, my social issues that I felt were important. And even with that, like as from that to now, I find myself feeling like I want to create a message that is one, important, two, that communicates the depth of a situation. So like I try to tell stories with the images and stuff that I post or that I shoot or whatever. So like my photography is more about like what I want to do as a writer than it is just about being a photographer, although I really do enjoy the other stuff too, because like camera gear and shit is like awesome. I love looking at that stuff, but that has nothing to do with Instagram. That was kind of off topic, but you know what I mean. That's sort of my MO, off topic, Anyway, okay. So I think when you asked me that, I what has happened with Instagram is really just a lot of it is I'm still there because I have a message that I think is important to share, but as far as like what I was doing before and the constant posting and the posting schedule and making sure I'm doing this and following it, they just wore me out. Yeah. And so the more they wore me out, I just didn't give a fuck no more.
And see, that's why I could never put myself on a schedule. I've never been a person that's been able to do like a schedule. Mm-hmm. I'm just chaotic like that. So I think I don't know, maybe a conversation with y'all at some point. I think maybe we were talking about, because I think y'all would tell me I have to post more. And I'm just like, What y'all win and what and how and when, and like to me it's always just been like I'm going to post organically whenever I have something to post, and that could be once a week, it could be twice a week, it could be twice a month, I don't know. And so
Okay,
I've
hold
never
on. I don't want to just cut you all the way off, but I have a question about what you're saying. You use the word organic, and I hear that a lot when people talk about social media and what they post and how they interact with it, and that's what they want to do and what they want to see, and they want to feel like it's, but ain't shit organic about nothing on the internet. It's like you're using an inorganic medium to represent an organic person, but the activities aren't organic. The mode of communication isn't organic. Like the whole concept of organic and social media is just a fucking conundrum for me. Like it just doesn't make no sense.
What's saying authentic
No, because that shit ain't
Oh.
authentic either. Because if you was gonna post it authentic, you'd be crusty when your photos.
You know what? That's actually a really good point. So I guess, so for me, I try to be as organic or authentic as I am comfortable being.
Yeah.
So and you know what? What's interesting is that like years ago, I feel like I was probably more authentic because I look back at some of my old videos and I was like, oh, TJ, you couldn't have shaved before you.
I was saying that too.
Like you could not have shaved, like you couldn't have brushed the beard before you did. But honestly, a lot of times I would just pick up the phone, like I'm going. I'm thinking this is what I'm doing. But yeah, when I say like organic, what I mean by that is just like what is actually real. Right. What is actually real and happening right now. But yeah, I've never it's always been such a struggle for me to like be on a posting schedule because the type of stuff that I post can't be scheduled because it's like it's happening whenever it happens, you know? But I guess for me to answer my own question that I asked y'all, the way I have, I guess, evolved is that now I am trying to put myself on a little bit more of a schedule, but it's content that is, what is the word I'm looking for? It's content that I'm trying to plan out, but I'm not trying to rehearse, if that makes sense.
Yes.
Because I don't like a rehearsal. I don't like a rehearsal. I feel like when you rehearse, it becomes inauthentic because now you're just going off of maybe a script or things that you've done over and over and over and over again, but you're then trying to make it seem like it's spontaneous. So yeah, it's strange to me to try to post things on a schedule. And the whole purpose of trying to post things on a schedule is to continue engagement and to continue, you know, reactions and all of that stuff. And I understand that that's important if you really are trying to build like a brand.
Or if you're just an artist though, right? Because if you're an artist, don't you want people to like the purpose of artists to share it with people, right? I know not solely, right? Because there is art for art's sake, right? I get that whole concept. I'm just saying, like in general, if you make a thing and you want to and you put it in a place to share it with people, the whole point of doing that is because you made a thing, you thought it was special or cool or interesting, and you want people to see it, right? And you figure, okay, these people follow me, they'll see my shit. But that's not true, right? We all know that's not true. But the whole, if you are on a schedule, you think to yourself, oh, well, if I do it at this time when more of the people who follow me or interact with my content are online, then maybe more of them will see it, and then I can gauge how successful this particular creation was.
And see, that's where I stop at that line of thinking, because I never go as far as, okay, what time of day should I be posting?
Right.
Or
right.
Let me not say that. Or what is the best time of day? I don't think along those lines because that's never been something important to me. So I guess for an example, like right now for my YouTube page, I am thinking like I want to post something on Monday mornings. But the purpose of posting it on Monday mornings is for people who may see it. It might be a good way to maybe start their week or to start their day. That's all I care about. I don't necessarily care about, okay, X amount of people is going to watch at 8:30 on a Monday. I don't care about that. I've never cared about that. It's not even my default to care about that. When it comes to like analytics, I rarely look at analytics. Sometimes I'm curious to be like, okay, how many people, watched this over the last 30 days, or how many people visited my blog over the last month or whatever. Right. I'm just curious about that, but it's never to the fact that I'm like, oh, I got to change some shit up because on this day, it looks like a lot of people. I never do the analysis of the analytics. I don't care.
So let me follow from that, because I really realized that I had done the complete shift. I was very curated in the beginning. Everything had to look a certain way. I was very polished. I made sure that, the stuff that I was putting out was, it took months to produce. Like, I would have the idea, shoot it, and then wouldn't put it out for another like month or two or whatever, and timed it with something.
And let me tell you, that used to bug me when you would say that every time. I would just be like, how? How? And but no. I get it and I understand it, but again, like, I just didn't. It was so it was hard for me to wrap my mind around that, because what I did honestly was like, when I shoot it, it gets posted. When I shoot it, it gets posted, and so I'm just like, what am I supposed to do? Like, hang around with this content for a week or a month? Like, what am I supposed to forget?
I used to hang out with and hold this stuff back for months at a time. Sometimes it's because like I would get a product before it was launched, and I would, or like a suit, like I timed it with like, prom season or the summer stuff, whatever. But everything was highly curated back then, and now I've gotten, and everything was very scheduled. Like I would plan out what would get posted on one particular day at a certain time every day. I would follow my engagement, see where I got the most views, when I would interact with people online, like all that. And I realized that was just too much effing work. It was like another job. And at the time, you couldn't monetize that really through Instagram. I was like, I'm spending all this time doing this. The time that I would have like on a train to just like relax to unwind, I'm sitting just going like this on my phone. And I'm just like, you know what? I'm kind of over it. So now nothing is really curated for me. Like, everything is just like organic, authentic in the moment. So for instance, like when we're even like shooting this, we have a schedule as far as like the topics we want to talk about. We'll pick a topic for that. We can say, this is what we're going to talk about. We have some bullet points, just items we want to touch on. We don't talk about it. We wait till we get on here to have that authentic conversation. So it's the first time we're all hearing it, and we can interact and engage in real moments. It's the same thing for like when I do my show on Friday. I'm moving away from doing it live on Friday and just scheduling them and then putting them out later on, just because I'm trying to work on time frame with other people and just make it more convenient for everyone else. Mm-hmm. But I'm not that I'm not worried about what I'm wearing. Did I freeze? I'm not really as concerned with I need to have on a suit and a tie and a hat. I can just come on here, wear something that I would normally wear out. Like, I would wear this out on a regular day, and I wear this on a regular basis and just have a conversation. I'm not worried about a perfect look. I just want to be myself and then have an engaging conversation with someone. That's what's important. It's not about how I look. It's about, am I having an authentic interaction with someone?
Right. And what I thought about, we lost Chris.
Well, I don't think we ever had him, child.
Well, we can wait until he comes back.
We can wait until he comes back.
What does this mean?
Be so caught up on the timer.
Yeah.
And like, you know what I'm saying? Because like, I'll just cut you hoes in half later.
Hold on, let me write down the time. 35:45. So, Chris, as you were talking, it made me kind of realize something that like, and I've always been like this as a creative. I don't like to sit with what I create for too long, because it feels like it goes stale, if that makes sense. So
even though you're the only one who's seen it?
Yes. Okay. But I guess, so let's say I write a poem, which I have been known to do from time to time. And let's say I wanted to share that poem on my blog. Let's say I write the poem, I write it out, I get it done, but then I go through it again, I make some edits and I move some words around, and this word sounds better here, or this, whatever. And I get it to where I like it and it's perfect. At that point, I feel like it's ready to go. If I sit with that piece of work for too long, it feels like it cools off. It feels like it's now cool or cold, and there's something about the magic of that has been lost if I don't.
I get that. I
don't share that immediately. So that's why it's always been strange to me to not immediately share, something, because then it feels like, well, that moment has passed, and what is now something that I may have wanted to share, that moment has passed, and so what's the point?
Okay, so here's something to take into consideration. As you start to do more stuff in fashion and you're picking up photography, you'll realize that, especially you're gonna have clients, when you're doing things with people, sometimes basically I think as you start to work with clients now moving forward, doing the photography, doing the consulting as far as like an image consultant, you're gonna realize that things that you shoot, things that you do with your client you might have to hold back on that stuff a little bit. Even though
I get that.
Yeah, but
I get that. That makes sense.
a lot of stuff that I was doing was tied in with other people, so that's why I kind of held stuff back. And then sometimes I shot so much stuff, it takes a while to go through all of it. Like, so for instance, some of the stuff that Rex and I shot back in January, it finally all came out, but that weekend, and then the following week, I shot more content. I still haven't put all that stuff out between just my regular work schedule and then having to find time to do the edits and stuff. It's not that it won't be relevant. I think it'll still be, it'll be good stuff to put out. I wish I would put it out earlier, of course, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
But I definitely get what you're saying, like, especially when it comes to like things like poetry and other things like that. When you're feeling it, you want to put it out into the world because you're feeling it that moment. To hold it back and then put it out later, it's just like you're not as invested in it, and you might not engage with people as much because that thought and those feelings have left you.
Exactly. Yeah, I'm not
like
I'm
when
no
I think
longer...
when I hear TJ say that, I think about the word impact, right? Because it seems like when you create something, you want it to have the maximum impact of your creative feeling in that moment, and the longer you hold on to it, then the more that feeling dwindles or something. Is that kind of accurate, TJ?
That's exactly what it is. Yeah. But no, Chris, I get what you were saying about working with other people or working on other people. That's a completely different thing, because that's not strictly what I'm creating, if that makes sense. I'm specifically talking about things that I create myself, which I have no problem waiting on like a project that I'm working on with other people, or even with y'all, because recording episodes, sometimes it comes out a week or two later, whatever. That's not the issue. It's the stuff that I create solely from me that I'm like, I want let's get this out right now because it's hot, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it makes sense.
No, it does.
Yeah.
It does.
Yeah. So if I were to summarize everything that we've talked about today, specifically regarding like Instagram and how we feel about what we're doing right now with our public facing creations and all that, I would have to say that it's all just like, get somebody else to do it.
Say more. Say more.
Like, I'm going to do what I'm going to do. And if you want me to participate in the way that you want specifically, then you need to get somebody else to do it.
Yeah, I'm over the pressure of having to produce on a regular basis at specific time to feed the beast, which is the algorithm. I'm not about that anymore. I'm not doing it for clicks. I'm not doing it for new followers. It's nice if they come along, but I'm not doing it for that.
Sounds like you're done being the product, right? Because people always say social media is free, but no, it's not free. You're the fucking product.
That's what they say. Yeah. If the product is free, if the price is free, you're the product, or if the product is free, you're something like that. But yeah, and I agree with that 100%, because I feel as though anytime and whenever I have posted, it's been at my own pace. And so, like, because again, I don't necessarily care about what thing I need to do in order to gain more engagement or followers, because at that point, I feel like the art, the creativity is contaminated. If I'm now concerned about what I have to post because it's going to capture a certain amount of people at a certain amount of time, then that contaminates the creativity. That brings in extra thoughts and extra stress and extra pressure into this thing that I just wanted to put out in the first place. So and it honestly, it may take me a while to even get to a point of accepting a certain thing. For example, when I first got on Instagram, like I said, I was posting just selfies and steals or whatever. And then, of course, videos came along, and I had to be coaxed into doing videos because I was like, child, that's not for me. Da, 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 da. So it may take me a while to actually do, but I got to come into it in my own time. I'm just stubborn like that, I guess. I got to come into it in my own time when it feels right for me. And that's probably another reason why I'm not posting a lot of stuff on TikTok, because I truly don't know if I ever will, because TikTok has been out for a good minute and I still don't get it.
It doesn't interest me.
It doesn't interest me. It feels like it's a not for me. I don't feel like I'm the target audience. I'm the target market.
On TikTok, I am fine with, like, I'm not saying I won't ever do anything, but in this moment, I'm fine with being an observer.
And I don't even do that. I don't even do that, honestly. I used to. I would scroll. Sometimes I just be like, yeah, I'm not interested. And I get tons of, my friend Scott sends me tons of videos, and I just have to maybe once a month go and just check them all out, because I'm so not on that app that I'm thinking about like just completely deleting it from my phone altogether. It's just like it's not for me. It's just not for me.
That's okay.
But yeah.
Well, look, I think this is a great place to end this. I think that this conversation has been truly organic, original,
and extra crispy,
non-GMO,
okay, vegan,
fair trade,
gluten-free,
ethically sourced.
Okay.
Yes. But no, like I think that these are the type of conversations that are really, really important, and it really is about what's going on today. You know, social media has such an impact in our daily lives, so it's good to talk about it and how it's changed over the years and over the months, and it's going to continue to change. But you know what, though, you can create your own space and do it the way you want to do it on these platforms. Don't let anyone dictate to you how you go about living your life and how you live your life on social media. So before we go, you know, you can follow us at our usernames here on the screen, constantly changing. For me, Rags and Pieces Mag and Bizarre Hodgepodge on Instagram. And then, of course, don't forget to make sure you like this video, subscribe to our page, and hit that notification button so you get notified every time that we put up a post. Just a little housekeeping here. We talk on a regular basis, and what we're going to try to do is bring you more recorded content that's a little bit more meaningful. We'll still do live shows occasionally. We're not going to do them every Thursday like we have been doing them. So maybe like once a month we'll do a live episode, and we'll definitely let you guys know when we're going to be doing a live episode. But we're going to be doing more recorded content like this. If you guys haven't had a chance, we've already put out all 3 of the videos from our series, Getting to Know Us, The Real Chris, TJ, and Rex. Those are up on our channel. And then that's actually in a playlist, correct, Rex?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, technically, Rex's isn't
all
up
3
yet.
of them.
Rex's are...
all
Is
Rex's all 3 of them are up.
Oh.
No.
All right, Paul.
No.
Dude, when this comes out, all 3 of them will be up.
This is coming out tonight.
Oh, are you putting this up tonight?
I thought.
I thought so.
Well,
I thought you wanted us to edit it down and put it up early. You thought because we postponed it, I would just do it later.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
If you want to put it up, I'll just.
No, that's fine. No, it's fine.
What do you want to do? You want to? Because I didn't want to rush you to do it.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, that's cool. But so if we put my thing out on Monday, then it will.
This up next week Thursday. Yeah.
So you probably just need to repeat yourself so that I can cut it out.
Okay.
The other part out. Me and TJ being a dissenting voice.
That's okay. 3, 2, 1. So please be sure to subscribe to this page, like this video, and then also click the notification button. We're gonna be so you can get notified when we do put up videos. And by the time you see this, you will have seen the series that we did, all 3 videos of us getting to know the real Chris, Rex, and TJ. So definitely go check those out if you haven't had a chance to view them yet. I think they're really great videos. You get a chance to know and to see where we're coming from as individuals and as a collective in this group and why we're doing this channel. So
yes,
with that being said,
I think that we need to make sure that the people know that we are going to be moving towards having some guests on.
Absolutely. That's gonna be real. I think that's gonna be fun when we start bringing guests on. So definitely look out for these recorded videos. We're gonna try to put them up on not really a schedule, but we'll have a day that we put these videos up. We'll be notifying you guys, and then we'll put it on our other social media platforms, so you can definitely check us out here. But I think with that being said, guys, I think this has been another great episode, and we will see you guys next time.
Hey.
Peace.
Bye.
Work.